Hello, everyone. It's Michele Maher here, and I'm joined with Dawn Santoriello this afternoon. Thank you so much, Dawn, for joining me to talk about the past 6 months we've been going through, this current experience, and keeping a positive mindset while pivoting in your life and your business. So thank you again, Dawn. If you want to give us a few words about who you are and what you are all about.
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Michele, for having me. I'm really excited. This is my first international interview, so I'm super excited. And I'm glad you're interviewing me too, because we kind of have a little connection there with the whole spiritual stuff and like your jewelry that you make and crystals. I'm wearing mine now, my little crystal. So like you said, my name is Dawn Santoriello, and I'm a certified financial planner based out in Pennsylvania in the United States, but I work with clients across the United States. And what I do is I'm spiritually focused. So who I want to help is also spiritually minded and heart-centered female business entrepreneurs, men too, but mostly female, because I feel like we're more in our heart space these days. And I help you reach your financial goals faster than you would have thought was possible, and to do it with financial peace of mind. And I've been in the business now about 15 and a half years. So it's been a while, and I just got the CFP initials last year because I figured, you know what, it's good to have some credibility. I know I'm smart, but let's just put it out there. I kind of struggle with the whole being spiritually, like, okay, well, I know I'm smart. Why do I have to kind of, but you also have to kind of live in earth world and what people like to have acceptable. They want to see those credentials. So I went ahead and did it. So.
Right. Yeah, true. That's great. So again, thank you for joining me. And as I was sharing before, I felt the need to start this whole interview series when COVID hit and everything got shut down. I did feel myself being a bit sucked into the fear as the social media got very negative and was full of grocery store lineups and empty shelves and everything like that. And there was just a lot of end of the world fear, in my opinion. So I just felt the need to bring some positivity to light, and I knew that I know so many incredible entrepreneurs that I would like to get their message out and share with the world. And if we all group together and we share messages of positivity, then it's going to help us all get through it. So that's kind of what we've been dealing with the past little while, like I say. And I think for a lot of people, the first couple weeks were just kind of a blur, because it was all just I don't know about you, but for me, even though I knew that COVID was over there and things were happening, I don't think I ever saw it coming to the extent where, everything was shut down in the manner that it was. So I'm not sure what you're.
Yeah, you know why? Because I'm glad you're doing this, because the world needs positivity, because there are positive things happening, even in the midst of what's happening. But the media, all you hear is negativity. So this is great, because there is plenty of positive things happening. And what was really funny, I kept saying last year, because it's like a lot of us light workers and everything, like last year, like it seemed like, oh, what the hell? Like a lot of like halts and stops, and you were like, you couldn't move forward. Things were just happening. It was all chaos. So I'm like, you know what? This is it. 2020 is the year. Clear vision. Everything's going to be, it's the year that everything's going to take off. And then 2 months in, it's like, whoa, okay, everything's shut down. And then what was really strange, because honestly, I'm a person, even though I'm in financial planning, I always had this fear. I'm like, okay, I'm going to run out of money. What am I going to do then? And how am I going to find new clients? I was always fear-based. But as soon as the COVID hit, I was like, boom, I'm like, I'm not afraid. And you think I would be, but I was just like, no, I'm like, this is good. I'm like, now I have time. I'm going to focus on me and building the business. Like you said before, most people, they were just going and constantly worrying and stressing out about things. But then boom, this happened, and you were forced to sit still and like take stock. Okay, what's happening? What am I going to do? How am I going to pivot? So I did something I didn't want to do, because again, being always worried about money, I was like the biggest frugal person. I don't want to spend money, but I hired a business coach. And let me tell you, that was the best thing I could have done for my business and for myself personally. I've been working with a spiritual coach for about 3.5 years, and she kind of told me certain things that I would be doing with my career. She's like, you can't go back and do things the old way, even before this all hit. And I'm like, Yeah, I can't really do that because she told me 2 years ago I would write a book, and it would be combining spirituality, meaning like holistic stuff like law of attraction, and real world financial strategies. And I'm like, yeah, the world ain't ready for that. And they're going to think I'm crazy. So I can't do that. And she's like, no, this is really going to make a difference. And if you don't do it, someone else will. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, then I was like, okay, well, I can't start that until I'm a certified financial planner, because if I'm going to talk about some stuff that people would consider woo woo, I need to go get credentials behind my name so they know I'm smart. So that happened in November. I passed. And then I started really thinking about, you know what, let me get started on this book. And then now with everything that's shut down, it's like, okay, things are changing, like you said. So I had more time. So back to that, my business coach, through that, I developed it's actually my signature webinar and talk series I do now, called Releasing the 5 Biggest Money Blocks That Are Holding You Back: How a Prayer for Abundance and Real World Investment Strategies Changed My Life and Can Change Yours. So basically what I did is I went deep within and I actually shared my story, which I was terrified, because I'm like, I can't tell people my story because I'm a financial planner. And if they knew that I was broke at some point, they're not going to want to work with me. But again, that was all the stories in my head, and it really wasn't true. But in my mind, I had to be this perfect person. Yeah, I make a lot of money, I'm smart. But in reality, people want to deal with people who are real. And it's like, you've had to walk the walk to go through it. So I'll give you should I share my little short story with you?
Sure. Yeah.
So basically, there was a time when I only had $200 to my name and I couldn't get out of a parking garage. I was working on a house rehab, so all my money went into that, and business was slow. This was when I was straight commission, and I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was kind of fumbling around, got clients here and there. It was in an area I didn't know anybody, so I had to build everything from scratch. But then through like the law of attraction, doing this prayer, and boom, by the end of the year, I had my best year ever, making over 6 figures for the first time ever. And I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. And then things went on throughout my life, like later on that happened. And it's like, so I was kind of like, I guess, being brought to this moment. My whole past was kind of gearing me up for this, to like share the story. It's like, okay, which basically, again, combined vision boards, prayers, and it's like showing you, okay, yeah, that stuff works too. And then here's real world investment strategies. This is how the truth about money and how it works. And now, okay, let's bring these together, use both tools to help people. Especially now, like you said, there's so much fear going on in the world that people are concerned about everything. Well, am I going to have enough money? What am I going to do? So that's when I'm here to try to help people, help them get through everything with peace of mind and know that they're going to reach their goals, and someone who could speak their language. Now, obviously, I might not be right for everybody. And for people who aren't like spiritually minded, yes, I could help you too. And that's not a problem too. But like for the people I really like enjoy working with, are people who really are like us, who want me to help them with their finances. A lot of them are coming into money for the first time. Like their businesses might have exploded during this whole coronavirus, because now they finally got the guts to quit their job, or they got laid off and they had to think of something to do. So a lot of people started businesses and then they're flourishing. So
right, yes, there are a lot of people. And going back to what you were saying about 2019, you felt stuck and at certain times, yeah, for me, 2019, there were a lot of, I don't know, a lot of blocks or something during the year. And then I made so many conscious decisions for 2020 and how this was going to be the year. And I had different goals out there where I made the conscious decision to pick out different events that I wanted to have tables at, so I had it all laid out for the year that I was going to share my jewelry at different events. And then in March, slowly, like one got postponed after another, and none got canceled, although I've already put the deposits out and fully paid for the tables and things like that. Nothing got canceled as such. It was all postponed. And some of it was postponed just initially for a couple months because we thought we might be shut down for, our government at one point had said 3 weeks at the beginning. So we thought maybe, a month, maybe 2 months. And so some things have been postponed a few times, and actually now it's, postponed to 2021. So same thing. It was kind of like, I don't think anybody saw this coming in 2020. That's for sure.
And I had a similar situation. So I finally got brave enough And in February, I'm like, okay, me and my spiritual teacher, we're going to do this. We're going to go create a webinar. I mean, a live event. She was going to come up from Virginia Beach to meet me in Philly. And so I did it, got it all set up. And then, yeah, it got canceled. I lost some money on it. And it's funny, the number, it was supposed to be April 4th, 2020. So I forget what that means in numerology, the four numbers, 444. It means something, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But that was probably the best thing that could have happened to me, because again, it said, okay, well, now we got to go do a webinar, do it virtually. And so we did it online, and I had 65 people attend. I was like, that's pretty amazing. So it opened up this whole new world. And also now my reach is global, basically across the United States as well. So I've actually gotten clients that I would have never gotten had this COVID never happened, because I wouldn't have been out there doing webinars across the country. I would have been like, okay, well, here, let's just keep doing it in my little area, and probably doing the same thing, not getting the results that I wanted. But now, because we had to pivot and we were forced to do things differently, I'm having a bigger reach. And like, look, we're talking. I would have never thought I'd be talking to someone from Canada.
Right.
So I think this is great. I'm super excited. And I've actually started going virtual 3.5 years ago. I used to have an office, but I realized, I'm like, nobody's coming to the office. I'm always going to them. So I was like, why am I paying for this? Just again, because I thought, oh, I'm a financial planner. I need to have an office. Like all these things that I'm supposed to do and I should and I have to do. And it's like, it's all BS, because you don't need any of that. Like you need to just know what you're doing and help people. Like it doesn't matter where you help them from. Like, look at us. I'm sitting in my home office here. So that exactly. So that was a good realization. And now it's just more acceptable because the whole world has had to do this. And even from like a whole economic impact, it's saving companies like tons of money now, because I think in the future, they're probably not going to need all these big fancy buildings, because their workers are more efficient. They're not distracted by talking to their coworkers. So it's like a great thing that's coming. So we were right. 2020 is going to be our year. It's the year that everything starts and all this great transformation. And yeah, there's ugliness in the world, but that's got to all be brought up so we can heal it and transform it, because we're going into the new world. So I always like to see the positive of things. And now I'm actually feeling like I can own who I am now and give the message of hope and inspiring people. So, yeah.
Exactly. And I think that is definitely the case in so many instances. Everybody was forced to come home and work from home, and like downtown Toronto, all those office buildings are virtually empty. I mean, there might be skeleton staff down there, but the big banks and insurance companies and the government here, like all these people that and all these corporations that always did things a certain way and didn't necessarily want people to go and be working from home, because it was always the way it was supposed to be. You go to the office, you work there 9 to 5, whatever it is, and then you go home, but you have to be there. Otherwise, how do we know? We can't see that you're doing work. And I think they've really found, exactly as you're saying, that employees are more efficient. Plus, they're also getting more hours out of these employees, I'm pretty sure, as well, because you don't have that commute time. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people might be starting earlier in the day than they were previously. And again, the focus is there because there's not the distractions of other coworkers and going to get a coffee or going into the elevator down to get your lunch or the coffee, things like that. So I think that going forward, we're going to see that the whole shift to using technology so much more is so beneficial. Because, employees also, if you think of it, for us here at Toronto, we have terrible traffic. The traffic was terrible. So you're guaranteed an hour commute if you're going to work each way. So you're guaranteed 2 hours pretty much. Yeah. So like, there you are. And if you're driving in that, you're just annoyed and stressed by the time you get to the office to start your day. Mm-hmm. So same with networking events or going to meet somebody for a coffee. I know I would in the past go to just meet somebody for a coffee, just, to talk about them, learn about their business, see how we can support each other. And you'd spend at least half an hour going, then have your coffee, the half hour, go back. now you can just hop on Zoom and do it. And you can also, like you say, it's global. So we can talk to everybody across the globe.
And what's great too, because at first I was thinking, well, going to a networking event on Zoom, how is that going to work? But actually, I've been a member of the group that we're a member of, Fem City, during this whole quarantine. I started in April, and I actually feel like I really know these women, even though I never met them in person. Because I don't know, you're just kind of, you're sitting there, everyone, you're not like going up to someone, at a regular networking event and just sitting there having that weird kind of waiting, can I break in there and talk? I feel like I have deeper connections with these women because I'm seeing the same faces every week. I get to learn more about them, where it's usually just once a month, and and you get to actually learn their stories too, which is nice. So I feel like a deeper connection, which you would think would be the opposite.
Yeah, right. That's true. And again, all the networking groups that had in-person meetings have now gone to online. A lot of it, you've got the option to go to networking events, on the other side of the country, or like in the, across the border, or anything like that. And even some of the people running these groups have had to really pivot, where they had bigger events and now have had to move them to virtual events. And so I think the learning has been there as well for technology, and that's something you're not going to lose. You're just going to be able to use that going forward. And so now, even if they do go back to in-person networking events, big live events, you can also have that virtual option for the people who don't want to drive there, who don't live within the commuting distance or something like that. Or even in the winter too.
Yeah, who wants to go out when it's freezing and it's cold? You're like, oh, I get to sit here at home and network.
Yeah, well, it's always the risk here too. Like when we're, when you're planning an event in the winter, you always have that risk. If there's a snowstorm, you're going to go from, 500 people to having maybe 50 or something like that. But if you've got the option for the virtual as well, then everybody can just log in.
Yeah, I think it's great too, because it's always good to, like, the more people in your network, like, it just expands. Like, there's more opportunities that are going to come up, because networking isn't just about, okay, well, what can you do for me? It's about, let's learn about you. How can we help each other? Like, oh, this person, you want custom made jewelry. Okay. Oh, I know this girl, Michelle, she's in Canada and she does this really nice jewelry. So it's like you're expanding your circle of influence too, and everything. And I just think it's great.
Right. And also I think during this time, it's like you say, the distractions were removed, so you really could focus on your business and focus on where you wanted to go with it. And this has really given people a lot of the chance to do that, to look at what you were doing before and who you want to be going forward. And if there's things you wanted to learn in your business, but you always made that excuse that you didn't have time before, the distractions were removed, so you can actually concentrate on it. As well, there was so much out there in terms of resources. Everybody came online, and we're providing webinars on various, everything. Look at how Fem City, what Violet has done to, she's, providing these classes on every single topic possible related to your business. So the amazing. Chance,
every day there's something new she's putting out. It's pretty incredible.
So exactly. So it's all there for you to learn whatever you need to learn. It's just a matter of figuring out where you want to go with it. And I think for a lot of people as well, it sped up the process. As you were saying, for your book, I know somebody else who's taken this time and to write that book. Actually, I know a few people who have done that, who said they were going to do a book. And of course, this has been like the perfect time to do that. And like you say, it's like a new beginning.
And it's really good. Like, yeah, I probably would have kept saying, yeah, I'll get to the book, I'll get to it. But it'll be done by this year. I'm almost halfway done now. So it's a good accomplishment. And then having a book too is also good, because that's going to be out there. Your message is out there for forever, I guess. It's in the print. Yeah. And my whole message in my book is combining, again, like, okay, the whole holistic stuff with the real world investment strategies on, okay, this is how money really works, and this is how you can reach your goals in the most efficient way. So it's not going to be like the typical boring finance book, because there's a million of those. I wanted to add some flair to it and show you, okay, here's a good prayer to learn. Here's how to clear these blocks. And now let's combine all this and how can you get to your goals. So yeah, I'm hoping that's going to be done by the end of the year. And then that'll be great too, because having a book is also a great way to go get speaking engagements as well too. So you have that. So that was another one of my goals too. Because I'm like, how am I going to get more speaking engagements? Well, I put it out there too. And look, me and you were talking. So things will just happen naturally. But again, you got to take the action steps. Like say you're going to do something and start working towards that. And then opportunities just come up from places you wouldn't even expect.
Right. And that's exactly it too. This has been a period of time with so much opportunities that are, like you say, coming up without you expecting them. You have to, and also what it is with the distractions being removed from us, and we're not rushing around like from here to here, you also are in a place where you can recognize those opportunities. And I think a lot of people have also been more open to actually saying yes to opportunities just because of what has happened. Because like I say before, who would have thought everything would get shut down, and who would have thought Las Vegas would be shut down? Yeah. If you had told me that last year, I would have said, what? So, and sports being shut down, for me, the sports being shut down was like, that was something I would never have seen possible. So just flip that around to the good and imagine what good you can create. Yeah. That you thought you couldn't before, because you would say, oh, that's not possible.
Yeah. So that's what this taught us. Anything is possible. So
exactly.
But it's kind of true.
Well, if you didn't believe that before, you have to believe it now, because it's just, again, you can't just keep going by what was done in the past. Just like you were saying about you having an office, because that was the thing you did. You were a financial planner. You have to have an office for people to meet, and so on and so forth. And I think a lot of people have realized that too. They had an office because that was what you were supposed to do. And there wasn't any other way of doing business. Well, now we know that you can do business from your home, just as long as you have Wi-Fi and a computer. Yeah, exactly. And just think of all these large corporations, and they didn't have a problem. Their business just carried on. Everybody came home, and the business went on as usual, and is continuing to do so. At least here, I know it is.
Yeah, and I think you're going to be happier employees too, because once we could travel, like how awesome would it be to just go hang out in like Costa Rica or something and start working, So people, their well-being, so it's all going to have a good positive impact for companies and employees as well. And then one thing I wanted to touch on, because a lot of fear in the market, like with all the volatility, especially around our upcoming election, and then just the way the market's been teetering. And I actually did a YouTube video on this. The worst thing that someone could do right now is to move their money to cash, because what you've done now is you've basically locked in your losses. And I always tell people, time in the market is much better than trying to time the market, which nobody could do that successfully in the long run. It just doesn't work. You don't know when to, because nobody knows when the bottom is, and nobody knows when the top is going to be. The only thing we know is the market goes up and down, and it's going to happen from now until forever. But over the life of the markets, they always trend to go up. So by you staying in the market, you're going to do well, and you will reach your goals. And again, you got to take a long view, not just the past couple of years. Take it like a 40-year view, your working career. There was this guy, Bob, who put money in the market. I think it was only $6,000 in 1973. And then he got scared. So he never put money in again until like the crash in 1987. He put like $46,000 that he had saved. Then again in 2001, I think, right before the crash. And then in 2008. So basically he put away $184,000 over his life, but it grew to, I think it was like something like 1.6 million. And that happened because he didn't do anything. He didn't take the money out or try to get scared and move in and out of different funds. So that's what I always tell people, when you're investing, make sure you're working with a planner, because again, they're going to match up the investments to your actual risk tolerance. And then the biggest thing is we're going to hold your hand, because people want to jump ship like crazy. And if they jump shipped in March, they're disappointed, because once you lose and you're out in cash, you're never going to get back up to where you could have been. Like even missing something like the best day, you lose, I forget how much it is, but I have this chart I show in my presentation to show you just by missing a day what you're missing out on. So again, we got to expand the time horizon too, which I think this is also going to help people do too. This whole time they're kind of contemplating over things, and you're like, yeah, why do I freak out if I hear the market's crashing? Like, so they're evaluating everything. Like, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to go work with someone. It is time to have a financial planner. Doing it on my own isn't working. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's the first thing that people do is when they get fearful, they're like, pull all my money out of the market. And then they hear on the news, oh, that everybody's pulling their money out of the market. Then everyone thinks, oh, that's what I should be doing too. But as you're saying, that is the worst thing to do. And because you're just capitalizing, sort of crystallizing those losses, and that's it, and you're stuck. So yeah. And whereas the other way, it's gonna, like you say, it's going to bounce back. It's just I think there was just a lot of fear and uncertainty, and that's something that we as humans we don't like, just like we don't like change. Yeah. Which was why there was fear triggered at the beginning of this, and then always was there was that talk, when we get back to normal, but now we realize that we were 6 months, and I'm not sure exactly how it is for you in Pennsylvania where you are, but it's like, yes, we have things open here, but it's definitely far from what it was before, and nobody's downtown. Although the majority of the office buildings downtown, nobody's working in them. They're all still working from home. So I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but what you see now is that there's so much opportunity to do things differently and to create something new. And whether it is your business or even in your life. I know a lot of people that have developed a lot of good habits during this period of time, where they've started walking, where before they said, oh, I don't have time for that. And looking at their health too, and getting more healthy and things like that. But also just looking forward, you're going to think twice about signing up for that networking event, or rushing, even the kids, even some people with kids, having their kids in all different sports and things like that, where they were rushing place to place. They've enjoyed this time when it's been slower. So again, looking at the choices you make going forward. Yeah, I think people are going to be more conscious.
Yeah, and this was like a reset that we needed. We needed to hit the pause button, because like you said, everyone was just going crazy, run. Now it's like, yeah, you're out, you're exercising, so you're healthy. You have, like, even when you're walking, it's like a meditative state. So you get some new ideas and inspiration, and you're just more relaxed. And look, you get to be at home with your kids. Yeah, you hear people complain, oh my God, I got to work and I don't know how to do they're on Zoom. But still, you're spending quality time, which you normally wouldn't have had. So I think it's really a lot of good positive effects are going to come out of this, stuff that we can't even imagine right now. But years down the road, we're like, wow, that all happened because of the whole stay at home, where we had to do things differently. So yeah, so I think this is going to have like a good ripple effect going forward, and we can't even imagine all the great things that are going to come out of this.
Right. And just as in the past, anytime there's sort of a crisis, that's when a lot of innovation comes out of it. And again, looking at doing things differently and everything like that. The other thing is the whole Earth itself having the chance to have a break from from the smog. And
was it in Italy? Like dolphins were coming in the canals because they were clean now. There wasn't a lot of pollution. That was really nice. So.
Yeah, exactly. And all of the just the less cars on the road in general too, because you don't have to necessarily all commute to one place to go to work. We know that now. There's so much you can do with technology. And also I've seen a lot of collaborations during this time, people coming together to work, work together on a project or doing an event or things like that. And again, you don't have to necessarily do it in person. You can do this virtually.
I actually did one of those too with a mediator. He was out of Florida. So we did a marriage and money in a time of crisis webinar. And it's like, wow, we would have never really done that, because I wasn't going to go to fly to Florida, or he wouldn't have flew up to Pennsylvania. But again, because we have this great new opportunity in technology, we were able to come together and do that. So you're getting great creations, like you said, out of here to help even more people, like things people are working together. So everyone's benefiting from all that collaboration.
Right. Yes, exactly. And it's also important, if you didn't know before, this really stresses the importance of being online. If you are a business owner or an entrepreneur, and making sure that you do have an online presence and you're taking that time to create your own personal brand, you know, like I say, if you weren't already online before, I know a lot of people have definitely stepped up the game during this period of time.
Yeah, you have to. You don't, like, you're not just competing in your little area. The whole world is your place now. So you have to be on top of your game and make sure you have that messaging strong and just, you know.
Yeah, the messaging strong is very important, and speaking to your ideal client and really narrowing down that niche and figuring out exactly who it is that you are wanting to work with, so that you can be speaking directly to them, because it is, with everyone being online, it's a, you know, very busy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, like, everybody, you need a way to stand out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So
Yeah,
differentiate yourself, and it all starts with you, because you may have lots of competition, but there's only one you, and only you can uniquely do what you provide and provide the services, because again, it's your heart and your soul going into the work that you're doing for others, and that's going to shine through. And that's another thing about everything, is being transparent and authenticity. So just being who you are is the best you could do, and attracting new business and everything.
right. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So thank you so much, Dawn, for your time. It was great talking to you. What do you have coming up for everybody who, in terms of virtual events, webinars and things like that?
Well, I want to say thank you so much. I enjoyed talking to you as well, too.
Great.
Well, actually, tonight I'm doing a live in-person event at the Rain Dance Life Center in Royersford, PA. That starts at 7 o'clock. That's on my Facebook page, which is Dawn Santoriello, or DS Financial Strategies. Next Tuesday, being sponsored by Rain Dance again, I'm doing a virtual event at 7 p.m. Again, that's on my Facebook. And then next Saturday, I forget what the date is. I think it's the 26th. I'm speaking live
it's the 26th.
26th, okay. I'm speaking live at the Autumn Goddess Festival. And that's on, I think that's on my Facebook page as well, unless I'm waiting to. I don't want to confuse everyone with all these events that I have going on. But yeah, everything will be on next week, so.
Okay, and I will put your information up underneath this interview as well, for people to connect with you and check out your website and your Facebook as well.
Okay, great. Oh, and then also my YouTube channel, if you want to check that out, that's under DS Financial Strategies, where I put out different videos to kind of educate everyone on different financial topics.
Okay, that's great. I'll have to check that out myself as well. All right, thank you so much, Dawn, for your time. It was, again, great talking to you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll stay connected and keep safe and healthy.
You too. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.